Good evening, young Padawans and Padawins. It is once again your Monday night. That's right, Monday night, and we are back. Two Ewoks in the park, and we are finally doing what I have been waiting for about a year and a half to do. It's season 3, episode 1 of Mandalorian, the reviews with Sully the Geek, and me, the Redneck. Sit back, relax, make sure you have your favorite adult beverage and some popcorn because we're going to have some fun. Sully, take it away. Okay, this is weird. Yeah, Sully, you have no sound.
I fixed it.
I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Did my computer go nuts on me or what?
No, so this is definitely going to be a clip that moment.
Yeah.
But I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong channel. Like, that's not my channel.
And like Nakaya says, take 2.
So anyway, as I was saying, hello everybody and welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park, not Avenger Pretenders. I am Sully and thank you for the intro. JT, we are talking about The Mandalorian. 2 years in the making, folks.
The long awaited season 3.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
I was saying a year and a half. I was a little bit off, but still.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But yes, 2 years in the making when it comes to season 3 of The Mandalorian. Only because they got a lot going on.
Oh, man. There is a lot to unpack in episode 1.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If you missed last week's impromptu episode of episode 0 of Mandalorian season 3, shame on you. You hope you caught up. Hope you watched season 1 and season 2 because, well, let's face it. Honestly, if you didn't, you're going to be lost. If you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, you're not going to be as lost because, yeah,
didn't really hit it in this episode.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett was kind of like, what would you call it? The Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yes.
Okay, so you know, mostly centered around Boba Fett and his backstory of what happened after Return of the Jedi. But when it comes to this, you have to watch all the episodes. Lady
and
Death,
there was a lot of stuff that I forgot.
Oh yeah, it does.
Lady a lot Death of things that happened that are easy to forget.
She apparently binged watched every episode the whole weekend.
Yeah, I had to laugh. She posted on Facebook that she was binge watching season 1. I think it was Friday night. Season 2 on Saturday, and both me and Echo went and commented on there. Don't forget to watch Boba Fett too.
Yeah, you have to.
You do. I still have to watch Boba Fett. I've only had the time to get in seasons 1 and 2. So I'm going to watch it during the week. But there wasn't really anything that happened in episode 1 that really tied in
right
to Boba Fett. So I think we're okay right now, but we got to get it in.
But the other thing you have to remember about Book of Boba Fett is that was basically holding us over until The Mandalorian season 3. And they needed to make it a lot longer. Yeah, but you don't really need to watch all of it. You don't. You don't need to watch all of Book of Boba Fett. I would say you would only need to really technically watch a few of the episodes.
Well, but at the same time, if you're going to watch a few, why not watch all of them?
Oh, 100%. I agree with you.
You know, I mean, how many episodes or how many episodes are there in Boba Fett? Like 8 or 10, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Nakaya would know. She watched it on Sunday.
I mean, in all honesty, yeah, I mean, it does fall down to one of those, well, if you're going to watch one, you might as well watch them all, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's neither here nor there. The fact is that season 3 takes place right after the Book of Boba Fett. So, Jonesy Girl just chimed in. Hello, Jonesy. She says, I so need to really watch this show. You do. You do. It's a great show. The Mandalorian, okay, whether you like Star Wars or not, The Mandalorian got new fans into Star Wars. And the reason they got new fans into Star Wars is because of the amount of Star Wars that is out there. She wants to know where it falls in the Star Wars universe. It takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So it's between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. That's when it takes place. Okay. Fall of the Empire. You know, the galaxy is, I don't want to say in ruins because it's not in ruin.
But they're reorganizing.
Yeah. They're reorganizing under the New Republic. Is where this is happening. So, you know, people, you know, wants to, you know, they want to stay off of the grid, and they do that. There's a lot of systems out there that don't want to be a part of the Republic. They want to be their own entity and so on and so forth. And that works. And if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. It's going to happen. For those that don't know what we're talking about, don't worry. Go back, watch it after the show. It's entirely up to you. I'm not going to tell you to stick around if you don't want it ruined for you. But you can absolutely watch our show and not have anything ruined for you in the first 2 seasons. Now, if you watched last week's show, different story. We destroyed you.
Yeah, we covered it all.
We brought you up to speed the way we're meant to. So this week,
and like I said, though, it was kind of funny because I was telling you this off air.
Yep.
You know, over the seasons, we've covered both season 1 and 2, every episode, and all
Sure.
that. And I sat there today and I watched the last 4 episodes of season 2.
Okay.
And for every episode prior to that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. Now this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and that's what would happen.
Yep.
And it happened with what would be episode 13.
Yes.
So all was good. Then I started watching 14, 15, and 16.
And then you went,
and my brain is like, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
Any of it. And then, and here's why we say you need to watch the Book of Boba Fett, is because of the post-credit scene at the end of season 2.
Yes.
But I'm like, I know I watched these because we reviewed them. We talked about them.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't I remember any of this? I mean, not even an inkling of, oh, I remember. I think I remember that. Nothing. So I was sitting here watching these going, what the fuck? I know I watched these.
Like, whoopsie.
It's like, what is going on here?
Whoopsie daisy.
And everything. So it was just really weird. And then just, I sat down and I watched season 3. As I started watching season 3, I'm sitting back in my chair. I'm all comfy and relaxed, right? By the end, I'm like this on the edge of my freaking chair, barely, a cigarette burning in my face, and just zoned in everything. I looked down, all 3 dogs are sitting there looking at me like, what's going on, Dad?
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah? What are you doing?
So, and as you know, it takes a lot to get me up on the edge of my chair like that.
Yes, it does.
So, excellent episode. And on that point, I will let you take the reins, sir.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do about that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes down to things, very interesting episode. Very great way to start the season off.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just get down right to the nitty gritty here. This one, it's chapter 17. Okay, so chapter 17, it's going in succession. It's not season 3, episode 1. It's chapter 17. They're keeping it as chapters, which I love. I love that that's what they're doing. And this one's called The Apostate. Yes, you said it. I said it right. The Apostate. Not the prostate, the Apostate. And this one was, if I remember correctly, was actually written by Jon Favreau. So, yay. Jon Favreau nailing it. He's basically partners with Dave Filoni now, so he knows what he's doing. And the entire... This was the weird part. And back me up on this one if you felt the same way. The beginning of the episode starts with the armorer forging a new helmet for a foundling. Okay. Mm-hmm. They're going through a ritual. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. You have to understand that when it comes to the Mandalorians, there are 2 types. That we know of anyway. 2 types.
Old school, new school.
Right. One group thinks that removing their helmet is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't
Which
do
is
that.
the part that Mando is part of.
Yep, which is what Din Djarin's a part of. And then you have the part that Bo-Katan is a part of, where they have absolutely no issues with removing their helmets and talking and, showing people their faces. Same with Boba Fett. He does the same thing. He can remove his helmet, does what he needs to do, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So in the long run, there are 2 factions, and this is really what broke out into the civil war on Mandalore, okay?
Right.
That's all I'm going to say, because there's comic books, there's TV shows, everything backs that up, okay?
Right.
This one starts off with the ceremony to vow never to remove your helmet.
And see, my frame of mind during this was it was a flashback.
Right? Didn't you feel like a flashback?
To when Jindarin was having, this was his ceremony. Yeah. This was his helmet ceremony.
It fit the mold.
Oh, perfectly.
It
didn't even look like him.
It felt like that's what you were watching. It felt like we were watching a flashback of Din Djarin taking that vow to never remove the helmet. Yep. Going through the traditions that that faction of the Mandalorians go with. Okay? Lady Death says, mine too. I was thinking loophole. He didn't get to finish. You know what? I agree that when it comes to this, yes, he didn't get to finish the creed, but we'll get there. Mad Studio just chimed in. He says, hello, Hammerheads. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Dr. Mad.
Good for you to join us today. As always, we're talking about Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 17. So it's Episode 1 of Season 3. And this whole vibe, the whole thing, really felt like a flashback.
Yes, definitely.
And then a big monster shows up.
It looked like a cross between a crocodile and one of the like grand dragon kind of, I can't think of what they're called that we have now, because he had the body of a croc. Oh, yeah. He had the head of a turtle almost,
Yeah.
Weird looking thing.
And mind you, this is just another example of kind of like, when you're down in Florida or Louisiana, you don't do anything in the swamps.
Kimono dragon, that's it, Nikaya.
The kimono dragon. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
You don't do things in the swamp because you never know what could attack you.
Yeah, don't walk your little doggy by the pond because some crocodile or alligator is going to come out and grab it.
Dr. Mad says he's up to speed. Don't have to worry about spoiling. Great. Perfect. Because spoilers.
Well, hear your thoughts too.
It's happening. So
Yeah.
So this entire scene, we see the Mandalorians trying to fight off this crocodile-like monster, which I don't even think they have a name for it. I'm sure they do. I'm sure
Somewhere.
they do. But we probably won't find that out for like another year.
Well, it took a season and a half to find out Grogu's name.
True, it did. It did. But that was part of the well-kept secrets, though.
Yes.
So you can't really knock that entirely, you know?
No, I'm just saying, it took them a year and a half to reveal the name of a major character. Yes. I would have to say the most popular by just a little bit over Din Djarin. Yes. But the most popular character of the Mandalorian series.
Oh, absolutely.
So, it's probably, maybe 3 episodes to get to what the hell the name of that thing was.
Yeah. So from there, as we're watching this potential flashback, the Mandalorians are failing miserably at defeating this monster. This thing is just throwing them and eating them and doing whatever.
I mean, 3 of them took to the air, as he said.
Yes.
And landed on its back and planted explosives on its back.
Which did not work at all.
All it did was piss him off.
Yeah, that didn't work at all.
It did not work.
I mean, for me, I was kind of hoping that we would have seen something similar to the Crate Dragon from season 2, when Din Djarin blew it up from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't happen.
Which was awesome.
It was awesome, but that didn't happen. We didn't see that.
There was the one part when the armorer came running forward with her axe.
Oh, yeah.
The 2 weapons that she always carried. I thought she was going to jump up on its head and freaking smack the axe right between its eyes or something. But that didn't happen either. That would have been cool.
Kill it for dinner. I was hoping, like Lady Death says, they were getting their asses handed to them, and they were. They were, but they didn't back down. They got the younglings into the cave. Protect them. That's their job. Protect the clan. But at the same time, again, I thought this was a flashback. I really
Not
did.
you. We.
Well, yeah, we thought it was a flashback. And then, out of nowhere, Mando shows up and destroys that freaking crocodile right then and there with his ship.
Yep.
With his brand new N1 Nubian starfighter equipped with 2 seats, one for him and one for Grogu.
Yep.
And the best part,
droid.
This was my favorite part. They're flying through, and up pops Grogu and he waves to everybody.
Hi.
Hi guys, we're here. Hello. And there it is. There it is. That's one of the reasons why we love this show so much, is because of the slight comical elements of a 50-year-old as a kid.
Right. And the other thing is the attention to detail that they put into these scenes. And the reason I say that is if you watch carefully, when Mando hits this thing in the side.
Oh, yeah.
With the shot that kills it.
Yep.
If you watch, you don't just see an explosion. You actually see internal intestines go flying. And that's one of the things that I've loved about the Mandalorian series is how detailed they are with things.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to be.
Because I was like, well, where's his guts? Oh, there's his guts.
No wonder why it smells bad on the outside. Which does happen quite often than not.
Yes.
From there, once it's destroyed, obviously Mando lands. Him and Grogu, they go meet up with the armorer who's inside the cave, and she tells him, "You are a Mandalorian no more. Get lost. We don't want you here."
Why are you here?
Yeah. And he said, our religion believes in atonement, which is true.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That Mandalorian religion does believe in atonement and rebirth. Okay.
Bathing in the living seas underneath the mines of Mandalore.
That's the only way that you can achieve atonement for your sins of removing your helmet. Yeah. Now, for me, I'm like, really? This is really? Get the pole out of your ass,
Right.
And he flat out says, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I think this whole season is going to be interesting. It's going to have some revealing truths. We're going to see a lot of battles, I think. Maybe some flashbacks between the Civil War of Mandalore and what's really happening. But we'll get to that as we go along, because honestly, it's just the first episode. There's a lot that happened.
Right.
When he
Lots to unpack.
When he tells the armorer that that's what he's going to do, he's going to go find the water, the living waters in the mines of Mandalore, and he's going to bathe in them. She says, okay.
They were destroyed. Well, initially she's like, it's not possible they were destroyed.
Right.
And that's when he brought up the traveler that supposedly landed on Mandalore.
Yep.
And brought back a piece, crystallized piece, that had ancient Mandalorian script on it.
Yep.
So, he says this is proof that the planet, because of the fact that this traveler was able to land on the planet, get this and bring it back, that is proof that the planet is not poisoned, because that's what everybody believes, is that the planet has been completely decimated and is now poisoned to anybody who lands on it.
Yes. And for this, and like Lady Death just said in the chat room, he has to prove it. And the only way you're going to do that is by going and finding those mines and getting something from it. That's the only way you're going to prove it. Or bring a droid with you and record the whole damn thing. That's the only other way to do it. So,
that's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
So from there, she says, this is the way. She agrees to it. This is the way.
And he didn't say it back.
No, he didn't.
It hurt me here when he did not say it back.
Well, the only reason he didn't say it back, though, is because
he's not considered a Mandalorian anymore.
Technically, he's not. He was booted.
Yeah, and I understand that, but it still hurt when he didn't say it.
It did.
It's like,
But
it's like Sheldon only getting 2 out of 3 knocks. It's like,
Penny. So from there, he decides to go to Navarro. So him and Grogu get in the ship, and they go to Navarro. And what I really loved about this scene was this was a father-son bonding type of scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because Grogu started up in his little bubble in the N1 Starfighter. And
then he saw the giant squids.
Yes, he saw all these cool he saw all these cool things while they were at hyperspace. And that's something that we've never really seen before, but it does kind of tie back to the Phantom Menace when Anakin was talking to Padme about space angels. That some fighter pilots would come through and tell stories of space angels, different objects or things that they've seen through space. So that kind of gives that more fantasy, but more tie-in to the Mandalorian. If you really want to go into it, you could tie it to that.
I found it really interesting because, like you said, we've never seen this before.
No, we've never seen it.
When somebody is going through hyperspace. We've seen the flashing lights and the neat rhythms and all that, but they've never focused on the sides. It's always been to the front.
Right. It's always the
So you
front.
never saw those till now.
You know, you may see some stars going by, but most of the time it's either the front or the back. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And hyperspace hasn't really changed when it comes down to it. But this was a great father-son scene because after Grogu saw all of that, he climbs down and he gets into the cockpit from behind. So we know there's space where he can go through to and from.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's got to be an access way to get up there.
Yeah. And he just you just see him snuggle in to Mando.
Mando's out. He's sleeping.
Mando's sleeping. Which now listen, if you're in traveling hyperspace and it's going to be a while, you sleep when you can. Hyperspace, the computer's doing it for you, you know? So he's sleeping, but at the same time when Grogu's snuggling into him, you hear Mando talking about navigating space. And he starts teaching him, like, you just hear him teaching him about navigating space and how.
Well, it was later.
Was
that was later in the episode when the second time they went through hyperspace.
Was it?
Yes. Because the first one, they were going through, he saw those, he climbed up into his lap.
Oh, yeah.
And the next scene, they were coming out of hyperspace.
Gotcha.
So the when he did the teaching lesson was towards the end of the episode. After they left, what's her name? The one who was going for the dark sword, but
yeah, we'll get into that.
Somebody else ended up getting it. You know, when he went to talk to her, asking her for help.
So we'll get into that in a little bit, though.
Yeah.
So we arrive on Navarro, and now we see Greef Karga. He is now High Magistrate of Navarro. And he lets you know. He corrects you if you only say magistrate.
Right. That's Sergeant Dumbass to you.
Yeah, Sergeant Dumbass.
Yeah.
In this one, he refers to himself as the High Magistrate because he's cleaning up Navarro, and it looks beautiful. Navarro looks so much different in season 3 than it did in season 1. It really does. The cool thing about that is Greef offers Mando a place to live. And I'm not just talking about here's a little house on the prairie there. No.
That's Springs front property.
Yeah. He's like, it's here, man. Wealth and riches. I owe you. You're more than welcome to live here. And
I need you to be my marshal is what he ended up doing was he offered him the job of being marshal of the city.
Yeah. Which I love how they tied things in. So
yes,
if you don't remember, Gina Carano played Cara Dune, who was fired from Disney. I don't think it was the actual Star Wars Lucasfilm like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni type people that fired her. It was Disney brass that fired her. But she was the Marshal of Navarro.
Mm-hmm.
But because of everything that happened at the end of season 2, the Republic went to her and said, hey, thanks for doing what you did. Oh, by the way, we want you for this position. Yeah. So she left Navarro.
Yeah. After she turned in Moff Gideon.
Yes.
What did he say? They recruited her to be the commander of basically the special forces.
Yeah.
Is what it boils down to.
Yes.
And she said, okay.
And she said, okay, and left. So now they don't have a marshal. They don't have a town marshal, which is where Greef comes in and says, hey, Mando, I want you to be the marshal. But he declines. He says, I can't. I can't do it. Not yet. I have things that need to be done first, is what he says. Yeah. So he's not saying no, but he's not saying yes either. It's a not right now. Not right now. Okay.
I have more pressing things to accomplish.
Yes. Well, from there we see some space pirates. Ah, space pirates. These are the true assholes of the galaxy. Next to the Empire, but that's besides the point. But the space pirates, well, they feel that they can do and take whatever they want because, you know, they're pirates. Space pirates. And we see them pretty much harassing I believe it's a school teacher, I think it is. And the bar that they used to go to is now a school. It's a school for children. They go there to learn. It's not a bar anymore. It's completely destroyed. It's just a school. And Karga comes over, he sees them, and he says to them, no, this is a school now. You need to get your stuff and get out of here. And apparently that didn't bode well for the pirates. Because that used to be their drinking spot.
It was an interesting statement that the lead one made because he said something about the half of my boss's hut is what built this place.
Yes.
And it was as originally as a tavern, bar, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
That was a weird kind of statement to throw in there like that.
It was very weird, but
it made sense as you went along.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And from there, we see that, like Micaiah just said, they no longer care and like that answer that it's no longer a bar and that's a school, and they're going to go in anyway. Yeah. And Karga goes, no, you're not. You're not welcome here. And do I need to show excessive force?
I mean, he even offered to take him to his office for a drink. He says, let's go have a drink in my office.
Let's go drinking style. That's what it was. And they refused. They refused to do that. So now we've got a little interesting situation on our hands because we've got Mando who's leaning up against the wall. Grogu is just floating there. And he goes, is there a problem? No, I can handle this.
Just a couple of dumbasses. No big deal.
And they get to the point where they kill all but one. And they tell him, you are no longer welcome on Navarro. If you are here, we will show excessive force. Hey, great ground rules if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't step on my turf and think you're not going to get a fight out of it, because you are going to get a fight, okay? Well, that turns into Mando saying, hey, listen, I've got some stuff to do, but I need our old buddy. And if you don't know who the old buddy is IG-11. And IG-11 was the bounty hunter droid that was going after Grogu as well in the first season. And
I love the fact that they made a freaking statue
of
him. I saw that and I'm like, now that is cool.
Yes. Yeah. Because, well, let's face it, he saved them all. IG-11 did save them all. The problem is now he's a statue. Or at least half of him is a statue.
Part of him.
The other half is...
as Lando said, we were lucky to find anything after he self-destructed.
Yes. And what I liked was Mando knew that he needed a droid by his side, because that droid had been to Mandalore before.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to have a guide than somebody who was, programmed to kill you, then reprogrammed to like you, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And then made a statue out of. Well, Kraga kind of gives him a little bit of grief first. Like, hey, that's our statue. He deserves to be there. He's served his purpose. And he said, yeah, but I need him. I need him. Can you just do me this one solid? Like,
Well, if we all think back and remember, Mando or Din Djarin, I just like calling him Mando. It's
well,
easy.
I mean, his
But Din
nickname's
Djarin is overly, extremely suspicious
Yeah.
of robots. He does not trust them.
Yes.
He does not trust them with a drop of his blood, let alone his life.
Yes.
So for him, and I thought about this as he said it, for him to say, I need this droid, that's huge.
That's very huge.
I mean, for him to do that, it's like, wow, that's out of character.
Yeah. And that just goes into, okay, well, now that we've got him, we got to fix him. How are we going to fix him? He's an IG-11. Good luck finding parts, especially some that were already destroyed. But the good thing is he is a droid, so you could potentially get him back up and running again.
Right.
And there's nobody else that can really do it except for the Anzellans. Now, if you don't remember who the Anzellans are, I'm going to let you know. Go back.
Cute little.
Go back
Cute
and watch, what was it? The Rise of Skywalker, I think it was, right?
I think it was too. Yeah.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. If you go back and watch The Rise of Skywalker, they used an Azalian to basically...
To get this transcription,
from C-3PO
into English off of the knife.
Yeah, out of C-3PO's memory banks, and they had to basically make him into a bad droid and reset his memory and go from there. So,
right.
So there's two of them working on IG-11, and Mando's sitting there going, "I don't understand a word you're saying."
So Lando, the high priest, or whatever the hell he is like this through the door translating to him. I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
They said this. They could do this. So
that was hilarious.
So eventually what happens is they do get him up and running, but he reverts back to his regular programming of being a bounty hunter. And Grogu is there, so that's the last thing that he remembers. So he starts going after Grogu.
Yeah.
And I forget, what did they Din Djarin drop something on his head or something like that?
No,
or
the robot.
Oh yeah, the robot, yeah.
The C-3PO looking robot. It wasn't C-3, but it kind of looked like him. It waited as the body is crawling across the floor trying to get to Grogu. Which, by the way, nice pass from Mando to Lando.
Yeah.
But, he pushed the statue over and crushed him on the head.
Don't worry, I'll clip it later. So,
I like that one, Mando to Lando. It's, it just fits.
Yeah. So once they get him unoperational again, they tell him that he needs a memory core to fix the IG-11. So he's gonna leave Navarro and search to go find one, and make sure to look after him while he's gone. So from there, he's in his ship, they start flying away, and now they're getting attacked by the pirates. The same pirates that tried to break into the school, and Kraga and Mando pretty much wiped the floor with all of them, except for that one. And this is where we really see... And this is what I really love about it. The N1 Nubian starfighter and its agility, speed, and maneuverability, especially with a good pilot like Din Djarin. Man, do you see this thing fly. Whew. And through an asteroid field, no less.
Yeah, a big asteroid field.
Yeah. So while attempting to leave, they're in this firefight, and they're eventually led to their leader Gorian Shard, who is the Pirate King. The Pirate King.
I was like, oh shit, that's not good. When he was the last ship and he was flying, he goes, I'm bringing him to you.
I'm bringing him to you.
I was like, oh, that don't sound good.
Ew, did not sound good at all. Well, from there, clearly, Mando handles them with ease. And then gets to the point where he jumps into hyperspace and excuse me.
You gotta love a spaceship that is fast as hell already.
Oh my god! Plus
has nitro.
Yeah, the hydraulics.
Gone.
Yeah. And so from there, he's now heading toward what the hell's the planet's name? Kalevala, I think it is.
I think so.
Or Kalvala, maybe Kalvala as well.
Kalvala, that sounds about that sounds right.
Kalvala is a planet / moon in the Mandalorian system, and he goes to meet with Bo-Katan and where she now resides. And it's interesting because the fleet's gone. The ship is gone. All her soldiers are gone, and it's just her.
Yeah.
And he says to her, listen, I'm going to go to Mandalore. I'm going to find these mines. I'm going to bathe in the living waters to be forgiven so I can rejoin my clan.
Mm-hmm.
And she explains to him that she no longer plans to take over Mandalore.
She lost all of her people.
She lost all her people, lost her allies. They all gave up on her. They all became mercenaries. And he, who still has the dark saber, is now the ruler of Mandalore. Go ahead, have fun. It's all yours.
Yeah, I liked her little snide comment. Well, just wave that thing around in the air a little bit, and they will follow you and do whatever you tell them to.
Yep.
It's like, gee, well, don't be a stuck-up bitch. You know, it's not his fault the guy attacked him.
Well, so, yes. Yes. But the problem with Bo-Katan, and this has been an ongoing problem since Clone Wars, is that she feels that her family are the rightful rulers of Mandalore.
Right.
Mostly because the Darksaber was passed down to her family. They fought for the world. They fought for the Mandalorians. And that lightsaber, which is an odd lightsaber to begin with, has different characteristics when it comes to being able to wield it. And the whole thing is all based on battle. If you best me in battle, you get the dark saber, you rule Mandalore. Okay?
Right. And when he was, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I am, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this, somewhere in the series that we've watched,
yes,
he was doing training with the sword.
Yes,
and
in Book of Boba Fett.
This was when it was in Book of Boba Fett, and this was when it was revealed that he had taken off his helmet, and that's when he was kicked out of the guild.
Yes, absolutely.
We talked about that last week because he didn't have to tell him.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have to tell him because everybody that he had taken his helmet off in front of told him, "We never saw your face."
Yep, he was honest.
So he didn't have to do it, and he did, you know, and now he's paying the price for being an honest person, which is what a Mandalorian is supposed to be.
Yeah. Western Echo says he can't hear you, but says, have a great show. P.S. Cute how they worked in a Cara Dune reference for like 1.7 seconds. Agreed. Totally agreed. You know, we did mention that. We'll see what happens in the future. We will. We'll see. Listen, if they can forgive James Gunn, they can forgive her. I'm just putting it out there. Okay? Just
right.
sliding it out there. So as you so nicely said, stop being a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of the episode. He walks away from her, and that's it. That's the end of the episode. So we know he is now on a mission to go and find the living waters.
What was her final line as he walked away?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Something along of goodbye, Dinjarin. Or something along the lines of, you're going to die, so see ya. Kind of thing. It was very ominous.
Yeah.
And I wish I could remember her exact words, but it was something along the lines of, farewell, Dinjarin Mandalore, or whatever, something along those lines that just made that ending very ominous.
I mean, I can look it up.
I don't really think it matters. It's just, the point being that it made the ending very ominous.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. Here you go. Let's see if I can get this to work correctly here. And let's turn that on. Because if I can get it to work correctly, then we're golden. Nope. Don't want to do that. Hold on. I'll tell you what it is. Let's see here. Let me pair that with the board. Pair golden. All right. So now, if I go to my app here. Whoops. Wrong app. Let me rewind. And for some reason, it's not showing that it's connected. Because we would be hearing stuff from this. Well, it looks like I may have to do it old school. Disconnect and disconnect. There we go.
Dun, dun, dun. Old school.
Old school. So if we do it old school.
Your cult
Go ahead.
gave up on Mandalore long before the purge. Where were you then?
Where were you then?
Yeah.
Children of the Watch and all the factions that came before fractured and shattered our people. Go home. There's nothing left.
I am going to Mandalore, so that I may bathe in the living waters and be forgiven for my transgressions.
Yeah.
You are a fool.
But is he?
There's nothing magic about the mines of Mandalore.
That I'd have to agree
They
with.
supplied Beskar ore to our ancestors, and the rest is superstition. That planet has been ravaged, plundered, and poisoned.
You said that the curse was a lie. Make up your mind.
If you want to go to the mines, be my guest. They're beneath the Civic Center in the city of Sundari.
Thank you.
See, at least she was nice. At least she was nice
Yeah.
and told him where it is.
Right.
And I will find out if the planet is really poisoned.
Goodbye, Dinjarin.
And that's it.
Yeah, just the way that she said goodbye, Dinjarin. It just had, to me, that really ominous feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen?
But the question then becomes, what is she planning?
Mm-hmm. Do you know something's going on in her head? Because she knows, in order for her to take what she thinks is her rightful place as the leader of Mandalore,
Yes.
she has to best him in battle.
She does. Absolutely.
So I know we are going to see her again, and it's going to be out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
She's just suddenly going to show up, and it's going to be at a moment when Din Djarin is, how do I put it? Highly susceptible to a sneak attack. It's the only way I can think of putting it. It's going to be at a time that's to her best advantage.
Yeah. I will tell you that from there, obviously the episode was over, and there was a lot of talk development-wise when it came to Cara Dune, and the whole addressing it. This season, according to Jon Favreau, is going to be more centered on Mandalorians and the past and the present. So Cara Dune is, according to this, still a very big part of the world of Star Wars. What's going to be happening with that? But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'm excited. I mean, I was excited just for the start of the new season.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to kind of go into my review real quick here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was already excited just for the beginning of the seasons. Like we said at the beginning, we've been waiting for this for 2 years. I have been jonesing for this for 2 freaking years.
Yes.
Okay. 6 months, 8 months, 9 months. That's a good time period between episodes or between series, okay?
Sure.
Not freaking 24 months. Okay. Let's get that fixed first off. The fact that they came out of the box with what I think is one of the best mass battle combat scenes that we have seen in a long time against an overpowering creature, reminiscent of previous seasons.
Right.
With the giant bug. Was amazing, but the thing that really pulled me in right off the bat was what turned out to not be a flashback. But it was a flashback until he flew in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was a flashback until he flew in and blew the creature up. So the way they did that was perfect.
It was amazing how they did
yes,
that.
It was. It was a hellacious start to season 3.
Yeah. I love that we're...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, the multiple battle scenes throughout, the fact that they are trying to bring back the droid.
Yep.
For the fact that it's Din Djarin that is trying to get this to happen.
I think it could
mind-blowing in itself.
I think it'll work. I really do. I think it'll work.
I think it would. I think he has to become a vital part of this because, like he said, he needs a droid that he can trust.
Yep. To
help him as he searches for the living pools on Mandalore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it might take him an episode or 2 to get him up and going.
Yep. But it'll work.
I do think that will happen. And for me, the final nail in the coffin on this episode was those last 2 words.
Goodbye, Din Djarin.
Goodbye, Din Djarin. And it wasn't a goodbye, see you later. It was goodbye, I'll attend your funeral, maybe.
Yes.
And like I said, it left a very ominous feel going forward into this next episode.
Yeah.
4.5 helmets right out of the box.
Wow. Nice.
4.5 helmets right out of the box. And I tell you what, if they would have thrown in one more really good battle scene,
probably would have been a 5.
I don't think it would have been a 5, but it probably would have been a 4.75 to a 4.9, somewhere in there.
Okay. All right.
Great start to season 3.
I got you. You know what? I'm gonna be right there with you and agree with a 4.5 for the helmets. I really do. I think you couldn't have done it any better than what they've already done.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said in the beginning of the show, you know, you were sitting back, you were reclined, you were chilling out, you were relaxed, and then all of a sudden you're on the edge of your seat. And when you see Bo-Katan, you're like, what is she doing?
Without even realizing it.
Yeah.
I went from fully relaxed to sitting on the edge of my seat.
And making it work.
I was so intense about it that, like I said, I had all three of the dogs sitting in front of me looking at me like, what's wrong, Dad?
Yeah.
What's wrong? What's going on? You know? So that was weird. Nakaya gives it 4 1/4 helmets.
Oh, I wonder why.
Dr. Mad, what about you? What kind of we use a rating system of up to 5 Mandalorian helmets.
Yes, we do.
For the episode. So what I would
back. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. We're back for like 3 minutes, by the way.
Right.
So just so you know, so sorry about that.
Right. I don't know if Dr. Matt heard, but we're curious on what Dr. Mad's rating for this episode would be.
Yes.
If he is still hanging out with from 1 to 5 Mandalorian helmets.
We would love to know. I don't know why OBS just crashed, to be honest.
That's weird.
Weird. That was weird. This is 2 Ewoks, not Disney's Frozen. Nice one.
I don't know. This might be 2 Ewoks in a Frozen park.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we could be 2 Tauntauns frozen on Hoth.
There you go. Very true. Very true.
Just putting it out there. Just, you know.
And they stink on the inside.
As well as the outside. Oh, so I do apologize for that. Sorry, guys. We didn't mean to, break it. But I honestly don't know why it started breaking the way it did. But yeah, so Lady Death, you're at 4.25. I'd like to know why you're at 4.25. Perfectly, reasonable. Perfectly.
Oh yeah,
reasonable.
Great rating.
And if Dr. Mad is still around, it'd be great to see what his rating would be for Mandalorian helmets. If not, I mean, we only have a minute left, so we're gonna be basically going, see you later, guys, bye.
So real quick, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. How anxious and excited are you for episode 2?
Oh, I wish they would release them all at once so we can binge them.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't. Honestly, I'm glad that they're doing it 1 episode at a time.
I am glad that they're only doing it 1 at a time. I do kind of miss that,
Yeah.
Because some people will finish the season before you do, and you're like, hold on, it's like my biggest thing, and I honestly don't know why Big Tank is like this. I don't know why he doesn't like it. Because I mean, this is great storytelling.
Right.
It really is.
Nakaya says that the armorer pissed her off because she was a total bitch.
Well, she's supposed to be.
She said that she was being a dick, but
she's supposed to be, though. She's the head of their clan.
Mm-hmm.
So
I kind of agree with her on that because just because he's not technically part of the clan anymore and has been exiled, it doesn't mean that you have to be an asshole to him.
I get it. I do.
You were friends before then.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
So, I mean, being a little bit cold to him, being a little bit aloof, I can understand, but, treating him the way that she did, I can definitely understand where Nakaya's coming from.
Yes, absolutely. I can. She says, I know she's supposed to be, but I can still be irritated. Yes, absolutely. But that's what's helping drive the story, too.
Yeah.
All right, friends. With that being said, that was this week's episode of 2 Ewoks in the Park, Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 17. You actually bought it. You better grow it, man. You better grow it.
When we hit the show tomorrow, I'm going to show it, and it'll have the seeds planted and everything.
Nice. So for JT and myself, please make sure you tune into the Sully Show tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We got a great show planned for you already. We've got some stuff that we didn't even get to last week that we're going to hopefully get to this week. And we did a lot last week. So you might want to keep it locked in. And we will see you guys tomorrow. So for JT and myself, this was Two Ewoks in the Park, not Avenger Pretenders, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. So long and farewell.
Micaiah says, that reminds me I got someone for Discord.